whenever you're ready.
Okay, this is my SmartWork presentation that I created for my students. I did a unit on plants, and I wanted to incorporate using smart technology because I teach students that are special needs. They have moderate to severe mental disabilities. And using smart technology is one way that I used, because they're visual learners, this is one way that I use to capture their attention, because most of our students are used to watching videos and TV and games. So using smart technology where they are actually looking at something up front with animation and bright colors is one way that I use to capture their attention. This is the objectives that the students, this is actually 6th grade standards. The unit was on plants. The students are going to be identifying the parts of the seed, the structures of a plant, the life stages of a plant, and the needs of a plant. And for my teacher notes, I actually have the information for the standards that are actually hyperlinked to the South Carolina Department of Education for the extended standards. On this first slide, as a way of capturing the students' attention, I included a photo story, and I actually hyperlinked it. I embedded a flash video in for the students, and this kind of starts off and it goes through and let the students see a variety of plants. On this first slide, the first thing I did was went through using the graphics that were already in the Smart Gallery and found a bean seed, and to introduce to the students the parts of the seed, the parts of a seed. On the next slide, using the same slide, I cloned the previous page and I used click and reveal, so as the students they're covered up, and as the students reveal tell me the part, then I can click and they can let me know whether or not they have the right answer. On the next page, what I used, I created the lines and wanted the students to actually label the plant's parts, so I can actually start out with the parts over to the side, and the students can actually come up and click and drag and label the plant parts. On the next slide, I actually used some transition and the pull tabs. The title of the slide actually fly in. When I pull out the tabs, it reveals, if I have students that basically need pictures only, I have the pictures for students that are actually able to read the words. Then I also have the words available, but using the pull tabs is one way to keep us in line and keep us on the right track. On the next slide, I put the pictures in order for the life cycle of a plant, and if you click on the plant, I linked sound so that the students could actually go through and hear on each picture what part of the life cycle they're at. So, like the first one is a seed, and then so on each picture, it tells the student the cycle of the seed of the plant. On the next slide, I hyperlinked a Brain Pop Junior video, so the student could actually go out to the internet and see a short video on the parts of a plant. After teaching the students the vocabulary that's associated with plants and the parts of a plant, I use the image sorter and the image match, and the student can actually match the parts, the pictures, with the vocabulary word. And once you go through, they get a score, so it's like a really quick assessment to see how the students are doing with the unit. On this particular slide, I used the scrolling banner, And because most of my students do not read, I also did a sound link that basically said the same thing. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? At that time, the student can actually come over to the pool tabs and they will see pictures to match that show the needs of a plant. Water, sunlight, food, and air. And if they click, it goes right back in. On this particular slide, I used the video player. I linked a video from Streamline, and using the video player, come on. This particular slide, I also use video player. As the video is playing, you can actually stop the video, pick up a pen, stop. You can make whatever notes you need to make on the video. Once you put it back down, the video picks up where you left off and continues on through the video. If there's notes that you need the student to highlight as they're watching the video, then they can actually stop, make notes on the video, and the video will continue. On the next slide, I have additional videos that the students could actually, that are linked to the internet using the ETV Streamline and also BrainPop Jr. On this particular video, I used the page recorder. When the students click on the picture, it takes them to the page recorder where it shows the sequencing of the life cycle of a bean plant. My students are very visual. They need to actually see the steps in process of where the pictures would actually go. Then they would be able to attempt to do it. But giving them this visual beforehand gives them an idea of the sequence that the flower, the bean life cycle needed to go in. Then on the next page, then on this page, on the previous slide, we had the page recorder that showed the students the sequence that the plants would actually go into. On this page, the students would actually do it themselves. They would be able to click, drag, and move the pictures into the correct sequence. I also used the smart response to create a video, to create a smart quiz for the students. Because most of my students are unable to read, I'm able to go through and read the questions, but they all recognize the letters of the alphabet, so they were able to look at their smart response and find the correct answer on their smart response. And this is a 10-question quiz for them. On the next slide, I also embedded a quiz for the students. Are you smarter than a 5th grader? This will actually go out into a PowerPoint, and it can run either separately or run as a PowerPoint quiz. And these are the resources that we used. I have a website, the CD for the person that did the music for the video, for the photo story, and where I got the pictures from. There's an actual plant quiz that the students can take online. And that's it. One of the reasons I really wanted to become a part of the Smart Board, the Smart Exemplary Educator, is because I really enjoy using smart technology. My students love the games that are, the smart tools that are in there. I find ways, it's one of the ways that I can use with my students to engage them, to be interactive with them. They love the pictures, they love the sequence, they love the image sorter. The vocabulary that most people think my students don't know, after we've gone through it, they're able to match words to pictures. So smart technology has allowed me to find new ways to interact with my students and to get them to be interactive with the lessons that I present to them. So I really would like to become a smart exemplary educator so that I can access and be able to use more smart technology with my students. Thank you.